Maybe a question.
Hi, I'm Sandy from Canada.
Yes, sir.
I was just wondering if you were getting any questions, and I felt bad.
Well, this is from that lady there.
You mentioned that you were getting engaged, and does that mean you're going to keep on cruising, or bring him with you, or are you not going to come anymore?
Well, thank you for caring. I did say that I recently did get engaged. We got engaged when he came to visit me on the breakaway when we were in St. Thomas. And so we're actually planning a wedding moon cruise on the Escape next year, where we will get off in St. Thomas and get married in Magens Bay. But we've been together for 8 years now. I've known him before I started cruising, so not much will change. We're just making it official. It was part of the deal. If he gets me, then he gets a lot of time at home by himself. And I just hypnotize him so he doesn't even realize I'm gone.
How many hypnosis sessions did it take for him to ask you to?
Years.
Oh, I'm going to get in trouble. Okay. I'm going to get in trouble.
Whispering in his ear as he's falling asleep. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And yes, ma'am.
I'm Mita from Tampa, Florida. I was just wondering, Freddie, do you have to share a cabin with one of the guys? Because the camaraderie between you guys, the way you joke and everything, it looks like you guys are big friends. So I was wondering how close, are you guys close? Are you buddies?
How close are you?
Yes.
Do tell.
Thank you, everybody. It's been a great time. Actually, it's funny. On other ships that we've been on, we have had to share rooms. On this one in particular, I don't know if it's because this was such a long cruise, and we thank you for not making us share rooms. But no, we do spend a lot of time together. We talk about how we can make things funnier, and we just play around. We're silly, we're stupid, and if somebody says, "Hey, this could be funny," it's like, "All right, let's make it funny," and then we just keep adding. So yeah, that's one of the great things about working with these guys. They're all very funny. They have not as funny as Bud, of course, but yeah, we're silly, we're stupid, and we try to make that come across in our show.
There we go. You say you don't share a cabin, but my cabin's next door to yours, and there was a terrible noise coming from your cabin last night. There was this young lady banging on his cabin door. I mean, eventually he did let her out. Okay, anybody else with a question? We have a lady here at the front. Actually, I'm faster, so I'll come down. There we go. Ooh.
You're British, right?
I am, yes.
Did you hear the baby's name? The princess?
No, I haven't heard the baby's name. No, I don't think have they released it yet? They haven't released it, have they? I don't think. No, so no, I don't think not released the baby. I'm sure that the baby's out at this point. I'm going to be in trouble again. So no, I don't think they've told us the baby's name yet. So as soon as I find out, I will. Yes, I'll make a note.
We have no inkling of what's going on in the world.
Right, neither do we. So, I don't even know what day of the week it is. All right, thank you. All right, anybody else? Oh, Sharon's running over here. So we have, who had the hand up? Yes, gentleman there. Yes, sir.
My name is Torben Holm, and I'm from the wonderful Copenhagen.
Ah, wonderful.
And I have a question for Bud. Do you speak the Danish language, since one of your parents was Danish? And
No.
secondly, did you ever meet Victor Borge? Or got some help from Victor Borge in any kind of jokes, any kind of performance?
My dad, when his parents died, he came to America to live with his uncle, who was Danish. My dad's Danish. His uncle told him if he's going to be American, he's going to learn English, and he wouldn't let him speak Danish anymore. So my dad never taught me Danish. My dad and his cousin, Walter, used to play cribbage together all the time, and when they would play, they'd speak Danish, but I didn't know what it was. So I don't know any Danish at all. As far as Victor Borg, I thought he was my uncle. He was at our house a lot when I was real little, age 4 and stuff. And I didn't know what he did. I met Red Skelton at the same time. I didn't know what he did because he worked with my dad a couple times. I just thought they were funny guys who knew my dad. So I had no idea who they were. And when I saw him on TV later, I just thought I'd try to figure out how they got inside the box. But I did meet him a few times. Very smart man.
Okay, thank you, sir. And where's Sharon gone now?
At the back.
At the back, where? Oh, there you are. I can see for the poll.
Hi, my name is Ron from Chicago, and this is for Brenda. I've been on a couple cruises where they've had a hypnotist also, and my question to one young lady that was a hypnotist on that is there were many remarkable things. I was one of the guys that did not believe in hypnotism and all this other stuff as far as that goes. And my question to her, because I saw some miraculous things done on that cruise, was what is the most remarkable thing that has happened to you that you've hypnotized someone or seen results of something that you've hypnotized come true?
Wow, that's a great question. And was it Nadine's show that you saw?
It was.
Yeah, it was Nadine. Yeah, there's not many female hypnotists out there, and we're all kind of friends. So yeah, she's remarkable. One of the most amazing things that happened during my show, and I could write books about all the crazy things that happen, but it was the part where I do the second graders, where I take them back to being second graders, and they talk like a second grader, they act like a second grader. Well, there was one little boy, if you will, and he was goofing off, and I asked him his name or what was going on, and he spoke to me in another language. And I thought, what's going on? He's just messing with me, right? He's being an honorary second grader. And I talked to him after the show, and he said, you know, I found it really interesting that when you took us back to the second grade, in my real life, when I was a second grader, our parents, we still lived in Mexico. So he only knew Spanish as a second grader, and then they moved to the US. So he really regressed right back to being a second grader where he only knew Spanish. And so that's why he was talking to me in a different language, because that's all he really knew. So he really went back there. So that's amazing. What amazes me all the time is the things that happen spontaneously, like aches and pains go away. Like in the seminar that I was talking at yesterday, there was a lady that was a 2-time cancer survivor, and she developed neuropathy, which is the nerve damage where you are in a constant state of aches and pains and pins and needles, and it was hard for her to move around. But the entire time that she was hypnotized on stage, she didn't feel the pain. And she was moving around, and she was sliding on her knees across the stage like a rock star playing guitar. And her sister was amazed, and she was amazed that she had that freedom of movement when she was in trance. And there was also another person that had Tourette's, which they had a physical tic when they got nervous, and their shoulder would bounce or twitch. And the entire time that they were in hypnosis and on stage, they didn't have their tic at all. It's just kind of like it was never there, it went away. And so amazing things like that happen all the time. Did that answer your question?
Kind of. Like I say, one of the things that happened that she told me about, she says, I don't really bring this up, but there was some gal that had a very severe case of cancer.
Okay, she's coming with the mic.
Yeah, there was a gal on that she was talking about. I said, what's like the biggest miracle and so forth? She says, this on the cruise that I was on, there was a gentleman that could hardly walk. He had a walker, and she brought 5 people up at the start of the show and went through all their symptoms. One gal was afraid of birds. This other gentleman could hardly walk. She brought these people back a 3rd and a 5th day, and when she brought them back on the 3rd day, the gentleman came up and says, I'm not using my walker. I have a cane. I am walking up and down. I've got 20 friends on the cruise if you think this is a phony situation, and they'll all tell you that I could just about make it from point A to point B with the walker. And 2 days later, he was the same way. Anyway, I caught her in a hallway several days later and said, hey, what's the most amazing thing you've seen? I've seen these people do this and so forth. She says, I had a cancer victim that was in their last stages of cancer and so forth, and several months or a few months later, the person said she was cancer-free.
Awesome.
And she said she didn't want to tell the story.
Right, yeah, that's amazing. And amazing things like that happen all the time. We just don't often hear about them. And I'm so far removed from my private practice. I haven't practiced, done one-on-one therapy like that in so long. I can't. It's hard to remember like those things that happen. But yeah, and there's even a book called Love, Medicine, and Miracles by Bernie Siegel, where he talks about melting away cancer tumors with the power of the mind and with hypnosis. So definitely those things are absolutely possible. So that's great. Thank you for sharing that story.
Indeed, thank you for your question, sir. All right, we have a lady at the front here. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm from Jasper, Georgia. My name is Tara, and this question is actually for you. First off, my foot is still ringing, so thank you very much.
Oh, your whole foot's ringing? I thought it was just your shoe.
My shoe. Okay, so this kind of ties into what he was just asking, but out of your personal experiences that you've had with hypnosis for everybody, as far as getting to know like how people are going to respond to what you actually are putting them underneath your trance, do you find that that's like what's the most exciting or most like interesting thing that you've ever seen someone do?
Well, it always amazes me because I can give 20 people the same suggestion and they're all going to play it out different based on their own minds and their own imaginations. One of the most shocking things that stunned me was it was a second grade skit, and I'm looking at the audience, and this guy who had to be in his 70s is army crawling on the stage behind me and looking up my dress.
Oh my goodness.
And I looked down at him, and I'll never forget his name, Captain Lou. And I said, "Captain Lou, what are you doing?" And he looks at me and he runs back to his seat and he hides his eyes, like if he can't see me, I can't see him. So that was really funny. And tonight you'll see in the late show, if you join me at 10:30, I always like to give the suggestion that a guy's favorite body part gets bigger. And 9 times out of 10 you can imagine what that favorite body part is, right? But yes. But when it's not what you think it is and it's something different, it's always interesting. I had a guy and his head, much like Bud, was his favorite body part, and it got bigger, and it got so big he couldn't hold it up anymore, and he fell out of his seat. And I said, "Can you get up?" And he said, "No, my head is so big, I can't lift it up." And so then I said, "Well, now it's filled with air," and so he started floating away like a balloon. And another guy, his ears were his favorite body part, and they got bigger, which was awkward for him. He didn't want them to be bigger.
That was Prince Charles?
Yes.
Like I'm the first one who's ever known it.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah, and I've got more of them, so we'll talk later. But I'm always amazed at just the crazy random things that happen. And also, Henri second graders, I've had them try and push me off the stage. I've had them throw shoes at me. I mean, my job is dangerous. It can be, but you just never know. And it's always fun for me because there's so many different personalities and so many life experiences that just blossom into the craziness that happens on stage. So thank you.
It must be great for you because every show is different. You don't know what
it is. Yeah, you never know what to expect.
All right, thank you so much. And yes, sir. Hello.
Hello, my name's Barry. I'm from Merimbula, a small town on the beautiful far south coast of New South Wales, Australia. My question is to all of the celebrities. This is a 7-day cruise where you can't get off the boat. You're performing for an hour or so each time you perform. What do you do with the rest of your time whilst you're on the cruise?
All right, Freddie, we'll start with you. What are you doing with yourself in your cabin on your own?
I've been filming myself in the room. No, I'm just kidding. I like to just walk around the ship. I like to do a lot of the things that we like to do. Walk around, see other shows. Love to see the other guest entertainers. Love to see the production cast, which is just amazing. And just live music. 5 o'clock somewhere bar with Nick. Nick is amazing. I just love to go and see other entertainment. Other than that, I get to catch up on some sleep. And that's just like to have fun, just like you guys.
All right, thank you. Brenda, what are you doing with yourself?
Well, I too am filming myself. No, just kidding. But what do we do? Like, the days just seem to fly by. You know, you can be busy doing nothing, like walking around the ship. The nice thing is, a lot of us entertainers know each other from other ships, and we've developed, you know, friendships over the years, and so it's nice to see familiar faces and hang out with them. They do provide us with DVD rentals for the crew, and so we can, you know, catch up on The Walking Dead. You know, we can see like 8 seasons in one cruise and that sort of thing. But I like to work out. I like to do yoga and different things like that. But like you said, Freddie, I love to see all the shows, and it doesn't matter how many times I've seen them because there's always something new to get, and there's great acts. Jacob and Vashni are my favorite. Aren't they amazing? See them in Gatsby's every opportunity I can, and there's so much you can do if you want to, but oftentimes, you know, we just hang out like you guys.
Okay,
Bud,
thanks. But yeah, Bud, what are you doing? I know you're actually my next door neighbors.
Yeah. I do work out 6 times a week, but I'm a trainer. I have 310 clients, so I have to I have to look at their reports, their progress on the internet, and I have to keep in touch with them, with their nutrition and their workouts. I also write for 37 other comics, so I'm sending stuff back and forth to them all the time. And I'm currently working on something I really can't tell you that much about, but it's with Norwegian. I'm actually working on helping design a new rescue apparatus for sea rescue. Because I opened my mouth when they were all talking about it on another ship, and I said, well, I used to be an architect, so they said, you can do this? So I'm designing this whole thing.
Well, you go watch The Walking Dead.
Yeah, can I add something else? Though it looks like we don't work a whole lot, and we really don't, compared to most people. Don't want to say that too loud, but just because we do a 1-hour show doesn't mean we haven't done a lot of other things that day. We have to practice, we have to prep, we have to do sound checks, we have to do our makeup, right, Bud?
Hair,
that takes. But we do spend a lot of time prepping for the shows and practicing every day just to sharpen our skills and keep everything in.
What do you
line.
I never planned a show. I've never rehearsed a show.
Okay, show off.
But it does take hours and hours and hours to come up with a minute of time. Plus, we are paid to travel. Okay. Last year every year when I do my taxes, I log my hours every hour I'm working. Last year I was on stage 247 hours total working on stage. 1,800 hours I was in airports, and over 1,800 hours I was in airplanes. So 3,600 hours traveling, 247 hours actually doing my job. So we get paid to travel.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much. And we're over here this time. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name's Dennis. I'm from Fort Mill, South Carolina, and my question is for you, Bud. I think I heard you say that you collect automobiles. They're all Chrysler products, and you've got 43 of them. And my question is this: where do you keep them, and are they fully restored?
There's 47, and they're mostly Mopars. I have one 67 Ford Fairlane convertible, 394 speed. I have a 68 Chevy Malibu, 307 2-speed turbo hydromatic. I have a 61 Austin Healey, which my dad was rebuilding, which I finished. And then it's not finished. And then I have a Pontiac, 68 Pontiac Firebird, but it's not a Trans Am. The rest are all Mopar, which are Plymouth, Dodge, Barracudas, Challengers, Chargers, CTX and stuff. I have one that's my baby that has an agent. It tours with an agent. It's a 71 Hemi Cuda convertible. There's only 7 of them left. And then the other ones are all drivable. They're all restored, so you can drive them, but only 3 would be like showroom condition. But they're all totally restored. I used to have more, but I've recently started selling some of them. Because if you don't, I have to pay people to move them and start them all the time. I have 16 people that work at my place because I have horses. But every week or so, they have to take out 5 of the 6 of the cars and run them, because it's not good for them not to run. And so half of them are on blocks, so the tires are sideways, and it's getting. And I have 2 big buildings I keep them in. Yeah, and my pocket. I have a picture of one on my phone. But yeah, and honestly, I get really good deals on. Like the hood of one of my Hemis has a shaker hood, And a friend, I saw a man on the Pride of America, a passenger, and he said he has one of those hoods in his garage. And I said, really? And that hood's $18,000. He gave it to me for the price of shipping, which was $165. So I get deals like that all the time. Or I'm taking advantage of people.
That's good. All right, thank you for your question. Anybody else? We're going to have to wrap this up fairly soon as we have Deal or No Deal coming up. We have a gentleman here at the front.
Hi, I'm Ron from Michigan. To all you guys, you must have a schedule of some sort. How long are you like with Norwegian, and then you get to go home for so long, then you come back? How does that work?
I think for all of us it's different. It just depends on the schedule. It's funny for us. A lot of stuff has come up last minute, so they'll call us and say, "Hey, can you do this next week?" So sometimes the schedule is clear, sometimes it's not. We actually have people going on, like I said, a Alaska cruise for Norwegian as soon as we get back. So we get off in Dover, and then we're off to an Alaska cruise. And I'm pretty sure that these guys are the same. Just whatever it is. I know for a fact that they have a better schedule than we do. You know a little more in advance, right? All right, maybe not.
Not really.
All right.
Not really.
But yeah, pretty much just when it comes up, they ask, and we're off and going.
Yeah, and for the most part, we all have agents, and we tell our agent what our availability is and what we would like, and then they submit it to the cruise line, and they say this is when you can have her, and or them or the act, and then they book it sometimes in advance. Sometimes we get 2 days notice. They say, can you be in Miami in 2 days? And you have to either say yes or no. But if you want the work, you better say yes. And I don't know even where I'm going after this cruise, but I know that I'll go home and I'll wait, and they may call me to go out the next week, or I may be home for 2 months. You don't really know, but ideally, because I do have a family at home, my ideal schedule is 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off. And I did that for almost 4 years on the Norwegian Jewel, and that was the most perfect schedule I'd ever had. But then they sent me to another ship, and so things are, and now I'm ship hopping more. So this is my 4th ship this year. So you just kind of go wherever they need you, and yeah. Is that how it is for you, Bud? Bud works, you work nonstop, really.
This is my 7th ship this year. I do corporate shows, private shows for companies, and those are usually booked a year ahead. So once those are booked in ink, we fill the gaps with ships. That way I'm always working. So Ken, my manager, will tell Miami, these are all the dates. Now I work for other companies too, other cruise lines, but Norwegian doesn't want me to. So they fill all those dates. But they don't tell me where. So like now they'll say, well, you're booked through October. And I say, where? And they go, we don't know, but you're booked. So when I get off in Dover, they gave me bus fare to get home to Nebraska.
Well, they usually do.
I actually fly to Nebraska. I'm home for 1 day. Then I do a fitness convention up in Seattle for a week. And then I fly home for 1 day, and I'm theoretically going back to Seattle to get on a ship. But I'm already there, but they won't do it that way. So that's
right. Okay, thank you. All right, we're going to have to wrap this up. Anyone? One final question? Anybody? Yes. Well, I heard it. Yes. Oh, here. Wait, we got Sharon coming with a microphone. Okay.
Hi. I'd like to know if any of the guys are married. That's Freddie.
Oh, Freddie, are you married?
Actually,
yeah, I was going to say, is that
none of the guys in the group are married.
You have
none
no,
of them.
no. Okay, well that's 2 we can settle.
Did you say married or married?
Married.
There is a difference.
Don't worry about your accent. They get mine wrong all the time.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a huge. One more. Go on, one more. Yes, sir. For me. Oh, I need to sit down on a stool. I think.
I'm just going to ask: are you always on this cruise ship, or do they move you from cruise ship?
They do move us around, but I have been on this ship. It's my 4th contract now on board the Star. I was actually scheduled to go to the Sun, but the hotel director asked me to come back because I've done this cruise before, and also the Baltics, and I had experience on it, so he wanted me back here. So I love the Star. It's a great ship, and I'm happy to be here. I love it. So yeah, but they do move you around. So I've done quite a few ships in the fleet. Thank you. For me, it's pretty good for me. It's not as random as these guys now. I'm more secure. Months off, so I work for 4 months, and then I have 2 months where I just do nothing. It's great. Go home, see my kids, have a great time, and then I know 2 months later I'm coming back to work for 4 months. So when I was a guest entertainer before, again, I had the same kind of thing. You don't know when. Sometimes you don't know when the next gig is coming from, but you know it comes in. But this way, I'm secure. Like 2 months, I can not have to worry about it, which is great. So that's my schedule. Right, ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause, please, for your wonderful entertainers this cruise. Freddie from Flashback Four, Brenda, and of course, Bud as well. Thank you so much for coming up, I really appreciate it. And ladies and gentlemen, stick around. We've got Deal or No Deal coming up for you in about 10 minutes' time.